Hi everybody, I'm going to do another video on agnosticism. Specifically I've been looking at, for certain reasons I've been looking at various scientists at the moment, including Freeman Dyson. I first heard of Freeman Dyson when I was watching an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation when I was younger, which featured a concept he dreamt up called a Dyson sphere. And the Dyson sphere, if anyone isn't familiar with this, it's the idea that a star could be completely encased in a sphere, a technological sphere, that would capture all the energy from this star. People would live in this sphere in like little cities or little colonies or whatever inside this sphere. It would be like a massive kind of, well, understatement, massive, ultra-massive city, if you like, surrounding an entire star. And it would be getting all the energy off this star. It would be maximising the amount of energy you can capture from the star, not just the tiny little slither we get living on this planet at the moment. So we're not just getting that little bit of energy, it's totally hoovering up all the energy, which is an amazing idea. You know, whether anyone will ever be able to achieve that kind of thing, I don't know. But yeah, that's going off topic a little bit. That's just how I know who he is. That's why I first heard of him. I was wondering, you know, what his views are. You know, I've stumbled across his religious views. As I understand it, he's what's perhaps best described as a Christian agnostic. If I read what it says here, this is a quote I found from him. He says, "I am myself a Christian, a member of a community that preserves an ancient heritage of great literature and great music, provides help and counsel to young and old when they are in trouble, educates children in moral responsibility, and worships God in its own fashion. But I find Pollinghorne's theology altogether too narrow for my taste. I have no use for a theology that claims to know the answers to deep questions, but bases its arguments on the beliefs of a single tribe. I am a practicing Christian, but not a believing Christian. To me, to worship God means to recognise that mind and intelligence are woven into the fabric of our universe in a way that altogether surpasses our comprehension." So that's interesting. It seems to me there that Christianity is just the sort of framework in which he lives his life. I mean, he's attributed a lot of things to Christianity there that are only, I think, really applicable to modern Western Christianity, and certainly not all of modern Western Christianity. They're probably the mainstream. I mean, he's British born. Yeah, it sounds like he's going with very much the modern Western form of Christianity and attributing that kind of cultural practice to it. A lot of the music that's associated to Christianity nowadays, for example, you know, wouldn't have been several hundred years ago. A lot of it's a bit new. Well, yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, this last line here, to worship God means to recognise that mind and intelligence are woven into the fabric of our universe in a way that altogether surpasses our comprehension. It almost sounds a bit like the Spinozan God that Einstein believed in. The idea that God is just this weird concept of the fact there's things in the universe we can't comprehend. So, God. Let's just put all that in the God box, I think. But that's an interesting thing to look at it. So he seems to be like agnostic to certain claims, to certain specifics of the faith. He seems to be someone who believes in some kind of supernatural power, some kind of higher power, higher force, God, whatever, but purely chooses Christianity as the most convenient cultural framework, which I suppose at least he's honest about that. I think that's true with a lot of people who call themselves Christians these days. A lot of them really have a much more deistic idea of God. They don't seem to actually act as though there's someone watching them all the time. Most people I know who are Christian, they don't seem to have the body language or behaviour of someone who's constantly being watched. Although, you know, I don't know what they're like when I'm not there. But it more just seems to be the framework in which they'll happily house their deism. It's just the most culturally convenient way to practice a belief in a God, it seems to me. So anyway, let me know what you think, everyone. Goodbye.